Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith. Have you ever wondered if adding a second monitor is worth it? Well, this is dual monitor editing in Adobe Premiere Pro. All right, I get this question sometimes where someone will ask, is it worth it having an extra monitor? And I truly think it is. In fact, I don't think I know of any professional video editor that doesn't work with multiple displays. So what we're looking at here are two 4K displays, and they're connected to my Dell 3640 desktop workstation down at the bottom. So this is my normal Premiere Pro workspace. And if I'm on my 7740 Dell Precision laptop connected to this Thunderbolt dock, it also powers these two. So I have many, many options in switching. In fact, I don't have to have one computer on both. I could actually have the desktop on one, the laptop on another, or the desktop on both, or the laptop on all three. Basically, I can really set up whatever I want. Now, the way that Premiere Pro works by default is through Workspaces, and it can maximize the screen space with Workspaces on one monitor. That's fine. But when you add multiple monitors, you get lots more options, and you can save those setups with Workspaces. What you're looking at here is my typical workspace for editing my show, where the second display is actually a full screen display of whatever I have selected. So if I select this monitor, that's going to be sent out to there. If I select the program monitor, that will be sent out. And when I hit play, it plays full screen. So I have a better view of what I'm doing. I like this way to work. And I actually set this on the keyboard shortcut F5. And let me just show you that, and then we'll get into more of the setup for Workspaces. So in the edit menu on Windows, the Premiere Pro menu on the Mac, keyboard shortcuts, and I just search for transmit. Enable transmit F5 is what I've got set. And what that does is it turns on the playback in the preferences. It turns on Mercury Transmit and monitor number 2, which is over there. So sometimes if I want to do some work over here on the desktop, then I'll turn that off, and then I'll do some work over here, turn it back on when I'm playing. This will also turn off if I go to a different application like Photoshop or After Effects. But I just love being able to grab that monitor and have that kind of view. All right, so let's talk about Workspaces and how to set things up. Premiere Pro works with panels. Every single thing you see, whenever you click on something and you see a blue line around it, that's a panel. And that panel has a setting where Adobe thinks it should be, but you can move these panels around. At the top, we've got a bunch of workspaces, and here are the ones that I've set up, which I'll show you in a second. One important thing is, way over on the right, Adobe will eventually change these workspaces. In beta, they're already gone from the top, and they're in a flyout menu over on the right-hand side. They're also in the Window Workspaces menu. So if you get completely lost of where they are, they'll always be in the Window Workspace menu, and you can add as many as you want. What I want to show you is that if you have something like, let's say, the media browser, right now when I select it, it's just in that spot. If you click on the name and drag it, now you'll drag this onto the second display. And you can resize it. So maybe you wanted a giant media browser on your second display. So we can drag that down, and we could go to our footage. And if I turn on thumbnails, now I've got a very large thumbnail view on my second display where I can easily see these things. And so instead of going to this tiny little space in here to pick files, I can pick them here. And if I go to the Window Workspace, I can save this as a new workspace. So I could call this file import. Select that. It opens up over here, navigate over there, move my files, and then choose a different workspace. Okay. You can also reset to the saved layout. So right now I'm doing this in editing. And if I double click on editing, it resets. The very first time you double click on it or you choose reset to save workspaces, you'll get a warning asking you if you want to reset it because you're going to lose whatever you moved around. Okay. So let's look at some of the ones I've saved. This one I saved, I call footage. And this is really typical for long form editors that have to work with tons of different days and locations and scenes. Here I've got a whole bunch of bins or folders open. Instead of having them open in this tiny little spot down here, every single one of them is open. And they can be open in different views, list view, thumbnail view, or freeform view. So much easier to have all of this room. And all I had to do was select one workspace and everything moved over. Wow, that's very useful. I'm just going to close these up because the workspaces don't reset these. Okay, the next one is a giant timeline. So how about this? Where you've got a giant timeline. And I'm holding the shift key and using my scroll wheel to open this up. So now I've got a giant view in the timeline. And I know some people use this to edit because it gives them that flexibility. If you're on a tiny laptop, man, oh man, the timeline at times can be so scrunched down and you're scrolling left, right, in, out, up, down. Look at this area here. And if I make this even smaller, you know, the amount of audio tracks I could have in here is huge. And how did I do that? Well, I dragged the timeline from here over to there, and then I dragged my project side all the way over here, source and program monitor. What about something I call big scopes? Wanted to open this samurai shot up. So I call this one big scopes. And of course, Premiere Pro has Lumetri scopes and you can open any of them that you want. But here I've got three of the main ones, a vector scope, the parade, and the waveform. And you can right click in the presets and choose any one of these and it will change however you want. So you want big scopes? You got big scopes. All I did was drag the Lumetri scopes out and then saved in a large one, dragged it to fill the screen. Here's another one for color, which might be useful. And in color, you don't need a source monitor and a program monitor. You just need to look at what you're changing the color on. So here I've got my main screen larger here, big scopes at this point, all of my color controls over here, and some my libraries. I have looks and LUTs that I can drag on, and then my timeline, which is very small. I don't really need, I'm not editing stuff in the timeline. I'm not trimming. I'm working on the color for that shot right there. All right, let's go look at something I call resolve. And what I was trying to do here was imitate one of the common setups for DaVinci Resolve, and that was having some of my color wheels down here, the main program monitor, a bunch of clips, timeline. It's not exactly Resolve, but it's Resolve-ish. Again, just another workspace. Now let's go look at something that I did for audio. So in this particular one, I have brought in a whole bunch of tracks, and you can see this is my track monitor and I've got a ton of tracks showing up. And in my master, in the mix channel, I've got my loudness meter. So I can play this back, and this is again more like a digital audio workstation preview where I can play this back with all of my tracks showing up, all of my effects sends, submixes, timeline over here, giant meters over here, where I'm showing the main out and the loudness meter and essential sound. So there you go. It's really up to you on how you utilize this space. Make sure you save your monitors. One last thing, in the back in the preferences, sync settings, you can sync your workspaces and layouts to the Creative Cloud so that you're not going to lose them if something gets reset. But that's really what working with multiple monitors is like. Add 2, add 3, whatever. I mean, you can use this with any application. One last thing I want to show you is if we go back to my main mix, and this is really, this is more of a Windows thing because applications are in a frame on Windows. The file menu can actually exist on different displays. And I use this when I'm working on things like graphics. So I can have a file menu over here and a file menu over here. And this is the same computer, but I'm working on 2 completely different applications. I've got Photoshop here and Premiere Pro here. So if I'm editing a graphic that's in the timeline, I could be working on this, saving and updating back and forth. Same with After Effects, or really any 2 applications that interact with each other. It's really up to you. It's a really powerful way to work. And like I said, my F5 key to go to full screen, I love that. Gives me so much flexibility. So there you go. That's what I think is a great idea. It just makes things work great. You can also work over here and then play a YouTube video over here in full screen. I mean, you're not going to run out of uses for having 2 displays. Hey, if you're new to Video Revealed and you found this informative, take a moment and subscribe. You want to support us some more? You can do that on videorevealed.com/shop, where you can donate once or monthly, any amount. There's lots of free stuff there. There's a members section and lots of ways that you can support us here, like our awesome donors. Thank you so much. All right, till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to invite you into my editing world and show you how I use 2 displays.